Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. Happy Friday to all you working stiffs. You got through the week, it's almost over, and the weekend's upon us. I hope you had a good week. I hope that all us Bear fans are over what's happened the last 2 weeks, especially last weekend, which was just terrible. And we've got to move on, right? We've just got a lot more games to go. We've got, 9 more games to go? Yes. So we're 4-4. It's not over. I still think if they can get their shit together, they could finish 500. That's what I've been asking for all season, so that'll help us move into the next season, where once we get an offensive line and fill a few gaps here and there, like a new head coach. Actually, a whole new staff will have to be hired. But that's a problem for next year, right? So let's get into the game. Get into a game upon us this week, which we are playing the New England Patriots, who you don't say this too often throughout the past, how many years, but their record is 2-7, and the Bears are 4-4. Crazy to say that about New England, isn't it? New England and the Bears have played 15 times, including one postseason game, and we've only won 5, and New England has won 10. Not really shocking, but probably those 10 games Tom Brady was in, right? So he is no longer a part of that team. No longer is Bill Belichick, who I was never a fan of Bill Belichick. I know that he won a lot of Super Bowls, and people argue about me all the time, but he's a cheater, and I don't care. If you win Super Bowls, if you're a cheater, you're not a fan of mine. I'm not. So anyways, who cares? But I gotta give a kind of a bummed. They did, as everybody probably knows, we did trade Herbert, number 24, our running back, for a 7th round pick. He went to Cincinnati, and unfortunately, his debut did not start out well last night. He was handed off the ball, and he fumbled it. They got it. Did they get it back? I can't remember, but no, I don't think they did. But anyways, not a way to start it, Herbert. But I was really bummed. I really liked Herbert. Johnson, number 23, kind of jumped over him, and the Bears seemed to have liked Johnson better. I like Johnson, but Herbert, I don't know. There was just something about him, so I'm really bummed. But I really hope and wish him all the best wherever he plays. So good luck, my friend. So let's talk about, I'm going to finish up last week. I'm going to finish up a couple of things that were said during the week after last week's horrible loss and embarrassing loss. There's a few things that came out. And one of the reporters in Chicago wrote something that I thought was really very, very, very true. He said, with all the talent that the Bears have on offense, they have a number 1 pick quarterback. They've got a good running back. You know me, I'm still on the fence about him, but Swift. We've got a fantastic tight end. Do you remember him? Number 85 Bears? Shane, our offensive coordinator, 85, Cole Kmet. Throw him the ball. We've got great receivers, DJ Moore. We've got Allen, and we've got a great rookie in Rome. You've got this talent. Why are we not scoring more points? Why are we not getting more first downs with this kind of talent? But as we know last week, Cole Kmet wasn't even targeted once. What? That guy should be targeted more than anybody, in my opinion. Well, not everybody, but he should be right up there with the leading receiver and then your tight end. He is so good. He could do so much. Oh, he's a great blocker, and I know they use him for that, but really we need to start using him for what he is for, catching the ball. He can catch anything. He can get open. Use him. So, with this talent, there's no excuse why we're not producing more points, why our offense is so bad. I know our offensive line sucks, but part of me is I just don't think these wide receivers are getting open. I don't know what the problem is. You've got talent there, especially with DJ Moore and Allen, who are so seasoned. They should know how to more. And when they're throwing to Moore, they're throwing mostly, 5 to 10 yard passes. Get him out there. I do like, though, the chemistry that Rome, number 15, our rookie wide receiver, and Williams are starting to develop. That's really great, but you've got to have that with these other receivers too. And these receivers, when he throws you the ball, you got to catch it. It's just kind of an important thing. So that reporter nailed it with saying, with this talent, we should be scoring more points, winning more games. There's just, I know the line sucks, but there's other teams in the past in the NFL that have had bad lines and still find ways to win. And they need to. And unfortunately, it does start at the head. It starts with the head coach and the offensive coordinator. And right now, we all know how we feel about our head coach. Everyone last year going into this year said, told you, we should have fired him, shouldn't have fired him. And, I've heard a lot of people say, you went after and you drafted a number 1 quarterback. You should have gotten rid of all your coaches and start fresh. A lot of people are on the opinion the Bears should have gone for a offensive mind head coach. Well, they had already had Flus, and we know he's defense, so they didn't fire him. And they, and they're right. More and more I think about this. I wasn't 100% Flus fan, but I was like, well, he motivates, he keeps them engaged, but he can't make a decision to save his life. We know that now. We saw it last year, but we've seen it quite a bit this year, and it's cost us games. So, you know what? All the people out there were right. We should have wiped out all the coaching staff last year. We should have gone offensive minded head coach, got a great D coach, and gone from there. But we didn't. So that's just a problem for at the end of the season. So we've got to deal the best we can with what we have. And that's why those players I just named, all really need to step up. And out of all of them, Cole Kmet is the one who's leading the pack. He, I know, is trying the hardest. I can tell. You can tell what he says after the games. He's disappointed, but yet he's a team player. He never calls anybody out. He says the right stuff. So why don't you reward him with giving him the damn ball? Okay, now this is something Flus said during the week. Flus said making a change at play calling just wouldn't be the course the Bears want to take right now. Why? We have 9 games left. Why don't we try, mixing it up a little bit and see what happens? You know what? I hate to say this, Getsy got fired this week, which wasn't a shock, right? But I wouldn't mind seeing if the Bears would have done the same thing, fire this guy and get somebody else in there. I mean, I don't know who's out there, but it really can't be any worse than what we got now. I mean, I just don't understand why we've got this talent, why the Bears cannot pull it together. So anyways, he was saying that, of course, we're not going to do any changes to that. But he did say the changes are going to be coming. We're going to look inward. We're going to make sure we're doing a good job utilizing our talents and our skills. And just basically, we need, his favorite word, to execute our plans better. These words he uses all the time. And of course, they are true, but it's not happening. And he said we have to make sure that we're doing that moving forward. We have to put the best plan into place, and we have to do it within the next 48 hours. He said this on Monday. So we'll see about that. Listen to this record. Right now, our road record is 3-18 in road games. Horrible. He is also 2-10 in the division. I mean, that puts us just last about all our teams. And when you hear 2-10 against our division, after a Sunday's game, we play I don't know the order, but I believe it's Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, or it's Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota. I know it's that. That's the first three. And then we have three more with them. And they're playing lights out in our division. They are so good, particularly Detroit. I feel, barring any more real injuries, and considering they had a major injury, they're still playing as well as they are. I think they have a really darn good chance of going to the Super Bowl and winning it. And actually, we know the Bears aren't going to do it. So I wouldn't mind seeing Detroit do it because it's been so long and we know how it feels. So you kind of have to feel for their fans. So, but we'll see. But my point is, we got to get our shit together. And saying all this stuff, oh, we've got to do this, we got to do it. Yeah, it all sounds good in the air and on paper. But let's see if you can do it on the field. Okay, Floos? And then earlier in the week, DJ Moore does a show, Mully and Han, I don't know. On Monday morning, he was asked, do you think Floos has lost the football team? And this was a quote. I want to say no. I know. What does that mean? To me, you read between the lines, I say yes. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to say the right stuff because he doesn't want to get in trouble. But to me, that answer, what do you guys think? I mean, doesn't it sound like, I said it last week after last week's game, I felt like he lost the team. And I think he has. I think we've really, you know what? And I think I think the offensive players are frustrated by the play calls. There's no doubt about it. Well, they should be. Look, Cole Clement didn't even touch the ball last week. I think they're very frustrated by that. I know again the line, but I think there's ways to work around that line. You see Williams running for his frickin' life. And then the defense just played so terribly last week. And in my opinion, and I hate saying this because they get paid and they should be coming out, but you got to understand, it's not like they went out there and said, I'm just not going to play. They go out there after the week before when we lost with that Hail Mary, and Floos put the defense under the bus immediately. He took no blame until 4 days later when he had to. I'm sure Poles said something to him. The media was all over him. And then you do? Too late, man. Too late. So it's in the back of the defensive minds, their minds like, man, he didn't stand up for us. He called us out when he was to blame. Sure, they were out there. They're the one playing, but he should have done. You know what he should have done? I'm not going to go over it. They made the last two plays of that Hail Mary game was on the coaches. So had he called after that game, had he walked out to that podium and said, I made mistakes on those last two, that last drive. I made the mistakes. I didn't put my players into the best position to win. I didn't call the right plays. We wouldn't even be talking right now like this. They might have even won the game. Well, he didn't do it, but what I mean, and he would have won his players. So that's it. So let's move on, okay? That's all I'm going to say. But I will say, we're playing a 2-7 team. That don't mean shit. It really don't. Anybody can be beaten on any given Sunday, but this game is a must. I felt last week's game was a must, just for the moral of the team, to show the league that we're not the laughing stock. But clearly, we still are. So this game, we're at home. The Bears have to win this game. I really do, going in. If they don't, I'm just afraid of what's going to happen. I am really afraid it's just going to go downhill, downhill, downhill. So, okay, so we know it's a must-win. All right, let's do my usual stats for the Friday game. And we're close in almost every category, and it isn't a good close. Okay, the Bears are averaging a pass of 182 yards a game. Awful. That puts us 29th out of 32 teams. New England is averaging 153 yards passing. That puts them dead last, number 32. But we're not much better. Rush game, we're averaging, this rush game is killing me. You know how important it is. Rush game and penalties, huge for offense. The rush game is we're averaging 112 yards a game, puts us 23rd. And New England is averaging 111. That puts them 24th. So both those two stats pretty much dead heat. Bears are scoring average 21 points a game. That puts them 19th. New England is averaging a average of 15 points a game. That puts them 30th. So that should make the defensive players smile. We'll see. Bears allowed, their defense has been allowing an average. It was much better until last Sunday's game, but they were averaging 18 points a game. Puts them 5th, so they're still up there on that. That's the only good category. And then New England is averaging 24 points allowed by their defense. That puts them 21. So pretty much we're all the same except for that last thing. Our quarterbacks. Now, Williams has played. New England has gone back and forth with their quarterbacks. They have a rookie who is Drake May. He was drafted last year like Williams, and he has, so I'll talk about him, but they have gone and they have Brissett and they have him. And I think Brissett started the season, but now Drake May is in. So Williams, our quarterback, has a 1,165 yards passing with 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not bad ratio, but I'd like to see that touchdown go up. He hasn't been turning the ball over, so that's one of the really good positives of where he's improved. But this is really bad. He's been sacked 29 times. It could be easily 39 times. We know that. So that is just atrocious. You know what? If they don't get this under control, I don't even know what to do. And then why, and then at the end of that last game, why the hell was he in at the end? He could have gotten hurt. He's okay, but he could have gotten hurt. Another stupid-ass move by Flus. Drake May, who I said is their rookie, he has started 5 games. He has not started all the games. He has not started... they haven't had a bye yet, so they've played 9 games. He started 5 of them. He has 770 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not great, not terrible. And he's been sacked 13 times. So he's got a better line, quite clearly. Let's hope that the Bears defense changes that up this Sunday. Then our rush attack. Number 4, Swift, has 505 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns. Their rush attack, let me just finish that, sorry. And then Williams, I don't like this at all, that Williams is number 2 in rushing on the team. Our quarterback has 221 yards rushing. I'd really like to see number 23 and Swift. 23 has 108 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns. Now, I'd really like to now that Herbert's gone, but I want to see Johnson in there more. I say it every damn week. The kid can move the pile. They use him down on short yardages by the goal line, but I'd like to see him get some more chances out there. Let's see what we can do, mixing it up a little bit. Their running attack, their leader is Stevenson. He has 483 yards, 6 touchdowns. Their second leading running is Gibson. He has 236 yards rushing. And then number 3, and he's only played 5 games, is May, 200 yards with 1 touchdown. So he's almost got the same many yards as Williams, and he's only played 5 games. But so what this means is they've got a running quarterback again. We're playing another team. We've played twice now. This will be the 3rd game in a row where you've got a running quarterback. So now they've got an extra dual threat. Our receiving core, number 15, rookie Rome, leads it with 395 yards with 1 touchdown. Then it comes when Mr. DJ Moore, number 2, 374 with 3 touchdowns. Our awesome tight end, who they never use enough, Clement, has 303 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns. Swift comes in with number 100. Swift comes on with 224 yards receiving, and number 13, Allen, brings up with 197 yards with 2 touchdowns. I'd really we got to get this going, and you got to get Clement involved. Okay, so they're receivers. Their receiving attack, Hunter Henry has got 414 yards. He is really, really good. That's somebody we're going to have to watch for with 1 touchdown. Second leading receiver is Douglas, 306, 1 touchdown. Bonnet comes in again with 203 yards, 1 touchdown. Everybody's got a touchdown. Hooper, 137 yards with 1 touchdown. And their last receiver has Gibson, 131 yards receiving. The offenses are both bad. We rank 28th overall in offense, and they rank 32 overall in offense. So we're so close. It's just embarrassing. You know what? Just that our defense is awful. I mean, our offense is awful. I'm sorry. Our offense is. So we got to get it going, but we'll talk about that. All right, so the defenses, let's give a few stats. The Bears defense has 23 sacks. New England has 16 sacks. So we got them there, but I want to see sacks this week. The Bears have 7 interceptions, and I believe we'd have more if Gordon and Brisker are in there, especially Brisker. But Gordon is great at it. I'd like to see number 1, JJ, start getting in there. I mean, he has great games all week. JJ is one of those, number 1, is one of those unsung heroes where he's making plays, but people just don't realize it. But let's get some interceptions. Let's get this going, okay? So they have 7, we have 4. I mean, we have 7. God, my brain is pickled today. We have 7 interceptions, they have 4. We have 11 forced fumbles, and we have recovered 8 of them, which is not bad. They have 13 forced fumbles, and they've recovered only 4. So when you cause a fumble, you damn well should recover it, right? Okay, so the defense, this is how they rank. Overall, the Bears defense is 12th in the league, and New England's defense is 25th in the league. So we beat them on defense, no doubt about it. Offensive, we're just the same. So let's talk about some of our injuries. We've been last week it killed us, and this one has concerned me. He is on his 4th game. Brisker is going to be out again. They've already said he's out. This is his 4th game with a concussion. You got a player that's out 4 games, there's a real problem. And I guess he's had a problem with this before, and that is so unfortunate because Brisker is so good. So good. I don't even think he gets the credit. But maybe he does now because he hasn't been playing. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm really, really, really worried about this. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with them. Then we have an offensive lineman, White, who did not participate Wednesday or Thursday. Now, I don't know Fridays yet. I'm only giving you up to Wednesday and Thursday. Gordon, number 6, he was limited again, but he was limited again last week, and he was a late scratch. So let's hope. We really need, if we can't have Brisker, we got to have Gordon in there. Number 32, Smith, who is our backfield, who actually played for, because they did not start number 29, the backfield, Stevenson last week for that bonehead play he did in the Hail Mary game. So they benched him for the first half. Well, that's what their plan was, to bench him for the first half and play him the second half. And Smith, when he was in there for him, he had some great plays. I don't know if you guys remember, but he really did. And then he got hurt. So now he's limited practice. Number 52, a linebacker, Taylor. He's been playing really well. He had a good game last week. He had limited practice, and Sweat, full participation. And a couple other guys like Jenkins is full participation and stuff like that. So our injuries are just killing us. But really, the biggest one right now to date is Brisker. I can't even preach it enough. I just can't. It's just... And I feel bad for the kid because he's so talented and he wants to be out there. But, when you start talking concussions in the brain, you got to think about it. You've got your whole life to live. And you're seeing older players having problems now with ALS and brain concussion syndromes that's messing him up. So you hate to see a young man have this, and you know what? At the end of the day, his health is more important than football. So God bless you. So today I'm going to do, before we get into what I think, how we're going to win this game, I'm going to do my segment, It's sort of an interesting fact. So I've been doing this. Every time I think of something, I put it down. So this one is okay. So you know that they have an award every year that they give out. It's called the Walter Payton Award, and it's for the best player who on and off the field, and mostly off the field, for all the good they do for the community, for charity, for human beings. It's players that are just got big hearts and are great human beings from top to bottom. So this award started back in 1970. And it was actually called the Man of the Year Award. So it started in 1970, and it was given, the first winner was Johnny Unitas, and he won it in 1970. And in 1999, after Walter Payton had passed away, the NFL decided to recognize what a great human being and player Walter was. And so after 1990 to 1991 and after, they called it the Walter Payton Award. And they get those little things on there. If you've seen it, everybody gets to wear this brown. It looks like the statue they get. And so, but that's really cool that the league recognized our Walter Payton. What a great guy. So 1999 it passed, it became the Walter Payton Award. And in 1977, Walter actually won the award, but it was still called the Man of the Year Award, of course. But he won it in 1977. And how many Bears have won this award? I said Payton won it in 1977. Dave Durison, God bless him, he won it in 1987. Mike Singletary won it in 1990. Charles Tillman won it in 2013. So that's pretty cool, right? So that is my sort of interesting fact for the show. So, okay, let's talk about this game on Sunday. We all know, as I said, it's a must win for the Bears. They're at home. You got a good record at home. You better do it. So my top threes: time of possession, turnovers, and penalties. They got to win them all. And you know what it is. Time of possession is so important. I'm just not going to go into it today. Turnovers, it's obvious. You got to win that. It changes everything in the game. Everything. It's always to your advantage. And with Gordon and Brisker being out, our interceptions have gone down. And it's not that they are necessarily the ones getting the interceptions, but they're causing the interceptions. And I don't care who catches them, but these two have really been instrumental in, in getting those, what do we have, 7 interceptions? We need more. I'd like to see some more come out. Other people have to stand up. Brisker's not in there. Who's going to be the one that stands up for Brisker and starts playing? And Gordon, we need you so bad. And then penalties. Well, listen, you know how I feel about penalties. 5 or less you got to have to win that game. And they're so destructive. And I told you last week, I gave examples about that game, how those penalties cost us at least, it was 2 for sure field goals and then some sacks. 3 field goals. So they're between the penalties and the sacks, we got to cut it out. We got to cut it out because that's pushing us out of field goal range. And I said, and it's funny because I say it all the time, and if you watch my show for all these years, penalties, they're so destructive. And I said, I wonder if, I am so sorry, my phone is ringing. I wonder if, I'm sorry. Usually I mute it. What the hell, Lynn? I usually mute my my phone, and I didn't do it. All right. Anyways, penalties. So I mentioned last week on the show, I said, I wonder if people, when they see penalties in games, think of me like, oh, I bet that's pissing Lynn off. And I actually had one of the subscribers or listeners who he did write last week in comments, and he said, I was thinking about you when they had all those penalties and how it pushed them out and how they had to punt. And I'm like, Thank you. Somebody gets it. Because, yeah, that's the other thing. It causes the punts. Penalties, you lose scoring opportunities, you don't help your defense, and you're punting. It's just bad, okay? Bad, 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 okay? So, it's obvious. The Bears have to score points when they're out on offense. Like they did last week, that first drive until the penalties hurt them, where they had, they were driving, that first drive against Arizona, and I thought, okay, good. They finally get it. Then they got 2 back-to-back penalties, followed by a sack that put them out of field goal range, where it would have been 3-0 to start the game. And you never know how a game can go if you have the first points or if you're leading the game. And that's something the Bears rarely do, so they're not good at coming behind. So the Bears offense has got to come out and make a statement. And it starts with the line, and then it starts with Cabe, and then your running attack has got to be better this week. We have got to have over 100 yards. We didn't have over 100 yards last week. You got to get going, Swift and Johnson. And Shane, you better call a better game, because that game was embarrassing last week, and the players were pissed. And remember, number 85, remember him? Cole Kmet? Why don't we use him a few times this week? And then it's the receivers. You got to get open. You got to help your quarterback. You're not helping your quarterback at all, receivers. And if you're initially not open, he's usually probably running around in the backfield. So go run somewhere, let him know you're open, and help him out. I see it on so many other teams when I'm watching football, where these receivers come back and they help their quarterback, and they get a first down. It may just be 10 yards, 11 yards, or 8 yards. Anything's better than a sack. You have got to play smart. I don't believe our wide receivers are playing to their potential. Rome is the only one I'm starting to see, which I like, some chemistry between Rome and Cabe. And that'll only help us in the future. But you've got DJ Moore, you've got Allen, and you got Cole Kmet. All very capable. Let me see it this week. Get your frickin' selves open and catch the balls when he throws it to you. Simple as that. And Williams, I know you're running for your life and it sucks, but please get rid of that ball. Do not take those sacks. You knocked us out of field goal range at least 3 times that I remember last week. And I know it's tough, but you got to learn how to do it. I know you're a rookie and this is not fair. It's not. But it is what it is, and that's why you make all that money. So, and the defense, well, it's quite obvious. We have to play better than we did last week, 100%. And it starts with the D-line. Now, we're going to have Sweat back, but that was the other thing I forgot. We lost a huge player, one of the big unsung heroes in the middle of that defensive line. Andrew Billings is out for the year. I forgot to mention that in injuries. He has to have surgery. I forget what it is, but he's out. And that guy, you don't hear his name a lot, but he's always, if you knew his number, he was always involved, and he's had sacks. He's going to be sorely missed. So now next man up. But it starts with the line because they have a good running attack. Pretty good. And they have a quarterback that can run. So we have that line has to start. The linebackers obviously have to be prepared. And then the backfield. Drake May can throw. He's got some talent. We have got to knock those balls down. We've got to get interceptions. And we've got to blitz more. We got to get in this kid's head. He's young. He's a rookie like our rookie. And he can make mistakes. So the defense has got to force the mistakes. That line has got to get off on that ball. I mean, yeah, I love more sacks. I want 4 sacks in this game, and I want 2 interceptions. And sacks, yes, but if you can even knock them down, that's almost as good as a sack. Well, it is as good as a sack, but you just don't see that in there on the stat report. But knocking him down, getting in his head, making him make bad decisions is what the Bears defense has to do on Sunday. It's pretty simple. Every player on that team, as I say all the time, has to come out and play their position 110%. They've got to be in it. They can't make mistakes. and they have got to be ready for every play. They've got to don't be making dumb, peddling mistakes. The defense did that last week. They gave up a free set. Well, it was special teams that did it, but still penalties. Gave up a free 7 points on that. When we had them down to a field goal, and then we had a penalty, and then they got a first down, and then got a touchdown. So penalties have got to be eliminated, and every player has to play their best. Play your position, mistake-free, get your head in the game, and play for 60 minutes. And we're going to win this game. You cannot lose on Sunday. It's going to be bad if you do, because your games, the next 9 games, are so tough. You've got 6 games within the division. And then after Sunday, you've got Seattle, who is a good team, and 49ers, which is a good team. So the next 9 games after, after Sunday. This is the only winnable game right now that we have, and we should win it. We had 2 games we should have won. We should have beaten Arizona. On paper, we should have won, and I knew I was sure we could beat them. And actually, we should have beaten Washington, as we know. But they blew that, right? So I'm not going to go on. I'm gone on a little too long, but that is where we stand. Bottom line, Bears got to win this game. Bears got to come off, forget about those last 2 games, brush them off, and come out and play like they were playing before the Washington game. Come out with a fucking chip on your shoulders and show your fans and the league the Chicago Bears are back. And particularly the fans. We put up with a lot, and we're getting really irritated. We cannot frickin' figure out how to get all aspects of a team together. Why? Why? I don't get it. All right. On that note, have a wonderful weekend. Go Bears. Everybody root them on. We need them to win. And as always, be kind. Love one another. Let's stick together. Times are tough. And we are good people out there. There's a lot of good people out there, especially Bears fans. Excuse me. And let's just support each other. We don't have to be mean. There's just no reason for it at all. So be kind, please. Oh, and I forgot to say, I have number 18 on, and you're like, hey, she's got a cape jersey. No, this is a Tom Zach jersey. But I put it on because it's 18. And it's one of those real jerseys back in the day that they, remember, years and years and years ago, you would get the jerseys, you would buy the jerseys that they wore on the field. And this thing is super heavy. Oh my gosh, it really is. But 18, bring us home a victory. And on that note, thank you for watching. Tell everybody to turn me on. Ba-dum-bum. All right. So have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to a Victory Monday, because you know I'm going to sing that song. And as always, go Bears! Or should I say Bears? And keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. Bye-bye.